Welcome to IUSTV Sports Game Recap. I'm Andrew Fish with my fellow reporter, Will Trubshaw. And Will, so far so good for the Hoosiers. 2-0 this season, 2 dominant wins. What has been working for the Hoosiers so far?
Well, I think if you start tonight, it starts with the defense. I mean, it was incredible. They gave up 26 points. They held Samford to 26% shooting on the night. In the first half alone, it was 10%. I mean, it just remarkable defense. Those are actually the fewest points IU has given up in the Terry Morin era, and the fewest points IU's allowed in a game since 2004. So, I mean, I think you got to start right there. It's cliche to say, but offense wins games and defense wins championships, and that was definitely the case tonight, especially because IU's defense faltered a little bit. Game one, we saw them crack 100 points against Eastern Kentucky. They still got 71 tonight, that's no small figure to put up. But there were a few too many mistakes for the Hoosiers that kind of hurt them offensively, a little too many turnovers, and they just weren't hitting their outside shots. They only shot 25% from three-point land. But, man, I tell you, the defense has absolutely carried the day for him so far.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like the defense was really spectacular against a Samford team that won the SoCon last year. They're not like just a nobody team. They put together a winning season last year. So for them to shut them down the way that they did with some physical bigs, which was going to be kind of a question mark coming into the season, was if Indiana is going to be able to hold on against some of these more physical interior teams like Samford. But clearly they did so. A big performance from Mackenzie Holmes once again, and they got the job done. But another topic of conversation has been the star guard, Ali Patberg, just 6 assists so far this season. A lot of the offense is running through Mackenzie Holmes and Grace Berger. And I guess my question for you is, does that surprise you early in the season?
Well, I think it's a little surprising, especially given the messaging that Terry Morin's been giving out all offseason, and that she wants Ali Patberg to be assertive and, be putting up her points on the board and stuff, and, you're really controlling the games. And so you look at it, like you said, only 6 assists, and she's cracked double-digit scoring both times, but it hasn't been absurd. The 2 leading scorers in the season opener, it was Mackenzie Holmes with her 26 points on 13 and 13 shooting. And then tonight, I'm not quite sure who it was. There were 4 Hoosiers in double figures. It was actually Grace Berger and Holmes were tied with 13 points apiece tonight. So, I mean, you look at that. Ali Patberg hasn't exactly been the catalyst for this offense, but at the same time, you look at, again, it has been Berger and Holmes who have taken over that leading role. So when you look at it like that, to consider Ali Patberg maybe your third option, that would be a pretty favorable place for most teams, especially in the Big Ten. I mean, she is a WNBA prospect, WNBA caliber player who was on numerous award watch lists. I'm sure she's going to get it going. She's going to get her turn in the spotlight. I wouldn't be too surprised, honestly, if we see it upcoming against Kentucky here. We're going to talk about that game in a little bit. But I mean, she tends to shine when the spotlight is brightest and when it's focused on her. And honestly, they haven't really needed it yet. She's played her consistent game, and that's about all the Hoosiers have needed so far. I think it's going to be a full team effort on Sunday against Kentucky, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see her really stand out then. But yeah, it's surprising, yes, because it's not her normal standard, but she's gotten a lot of help so far too.
Right. Yeah. You touched on it for me, where the Hoosiers just haven't needed it yet. And I think that when you get out and you're playing the ranked teams, especially as you get into the Big Ten season, that's when she's going to come and be a little bit more aggressive, take over the game at times. We've seen it all throughout her career here at IU, the ability to control the game and really control the pace of the game as well. So, 2 opponents that the Indiana Hoosiers have dominated. I think it was kind of maybe in her plan to kind of get Mackenzie Holmes and Grace Berger going a little bit heading into the Kentucky game, where now you have 3 really elite players going into that game feeling really confident. And that ties into the next conversation, which is, you are going on the road to Rupp Arena on Sunday. Number 11 ranked Kentucky. Do the Hoosiers have a shot to pull off the road victory and really get this season going in an area where they feel they might be a Final Four team?
Yeah, I mean that's the big question, right? I mean, this is a team that's been highly touted. You know, the Hoosiers think they can win the Big Ten, but I would have to think Kentucky might be one of the favorites to win the SEC. You know, they're really tempted. They've got Ryan Howard, who was a National Player of the Year award finalist last year, right up there with Sabrina Ionescu. Now that Ionescu's gone, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that Howard might be the successor to that throne. So this is a really, really talented Kentucky team. But again, so is IU. I don't think they're ever daunted by anyone. And you think about it, IU's number 13. So I mean, this is going to be quite a showdown. Really, you know, I think when you go into Rupp Arena, that's a hostile environment. You know, regardless of if there are fans or not. That's just it is a tough place to play when you are the visiting team. But I mean, I think the Hoosiers got to like their chances. I don't think they can. They're going to have to rely a lot more on their offense solely because I don't think you can reduplicate the defensive effort you had tonight. I mean, it was impressive, but I mean, this is again a really talented Kentucky team. Um, you might hold them to 26 points in one half. I don't think you're going to hold them to 26 points for a full game. That would be a really tall task. If you did that, I think you'd have to put the Hoosiers in like the top 5 because that would be a really impressive performance. But that's it. I think the Hoosiers can certainly make a game of this. Um, if they have a good night shooting, I think there's no question they can pull off the upset. I think that's the biggest thing that is. They have to be able to hit those outside shots, or more than they did tonight anyway. And they can't miss free throws. The Hoosiers were not good at the free throw line tonight. They're 10 of 18. You know, they're free for a reason, right? You've got to convert those chances. Terry Moore in the press conference post game here against Samford, you know, that's one of the things she said they need to work on. She knows this is a better free throw shooting team than that, and they're going to need to be if you get that many opportunities against Kentucky, because you can't waste free opportunities against this team.
Yeah, no doubt. And the Hoosiers have had success against the SEC, the only team to beat South Carolina last season, the number one team in the nation. So it's definitely possible for this team. I feel that the Hoosiers are an extremely deep team, which may have an advantage over Kentucky going to that game. But you mentioned Ryan Howard, the second leading scorer in the nation last season, coming back this year. She's obviously one of the best players in the country. And it's going to be a full-fledged. You pretty much need a perfect game to beat a team like Kentucky at home, and we'll see if the Hoosiers are up to the task. But 2 wins under the Hoosiers' belt. They're looking good. We're excited for that game on Sunday. And Will Trubshaw, thank you for joining me. I am Andrew Fish on IUSTV Sports Recap.